Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's podcast episode, I have the pleasure of welcoming back, I think we have met 3 times for an interview now on the podcast. I'm pretty sure it's 3 times. Mr. Tyrone Ash, absolutely killing it over there in Dubai. Dude, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Aaron. Yeah, but different circumstances from when we met before. Yeah, I'm now out in Dubai full time. Extended the business out here, but it's always a pleasure. I think it's been about 3 times now. So yeah, third time's a charm, as they say.
That's it. Yeah, it's never a chore. So look, what we're going to jump into, just to give an overview, if you're going to stick around for this podcast, we are going to be talking about money, which we know some people like, some people don't like to talk about money. We're going to be talking about the poor mindset versus rich mindset. We're going to go over the victim mindset, which seems to be a big thing in society. Poor me, pity party. We're going to talk about beta attitudes in the workplace. Why are people not sticking up for themselves? We're going to cover off blame culture and inaction leads to misery. And also something that Tyrone recently said, which I think is great, is noticing when you lose your bite. And then you need to get back on the horse and start chasing the game. So look, Tyrone, you're absolutely killing it. You have moved over to Dubai. Obviously, last time we met, it was in London. Big things on the horizon for you guys. You're absolutely everywhere. But look, what does let's kick this off. What does money mean to you, mate? Because you say money to the wrong person, and they want to go into a bit of a ball and curl up because maybe it makes them feel awkward.
I think money is always the taboo subject for people because it's usually the discussion point they don't want to talk about. For me, money is just it's a vehicle to be able to do the things that you want to do and go the places you want to go and enrich your life. For me, I've, experienced both sides of the coin, and I focus all my attention into earning more money, into building my business bigger and becoming more successful because it unlocks a different level of a quality of life that, unfortunately, if you don't have it does compromise a lot of sides of your life that, unfortunately, you probably would like to have better. And the only way you can unlock it is by earning more money, unfortunately.
I think we're in a world at the moment where it's 2 sides of the coin. I think it's never been easier to earn really good money, but at the same time, you've got to navigate the shit of who to listen to, and there's a lot of marketing adverts and stuff like that. So let's just sort of start from the beginning, mate. If someone was thinking, do you know what, I want a piece of that pie, I understand there's more money to be made. How do you navigate the world of social media, which tells you how to do it this way, that way, and many more?
I think the first thing is there's not a get rich quick scheme. I think people need to understand that. People who are following, trading signals, for example, that think that's their ticket out of there, 98.6% of traders fail. There are many courses that they advocate that if you follow this structure, you'll be able to become a millionaire in drop shipping or e-commerce or whatever it might be. And as much as some of the systems do work and some of the systems can help people, belief for me is that it must be built, whatever you do. I'm in real estate, but I'm also launching, e-learning platforms to teach how I've done things. It's built on a foundation. It's been built on a foundation where even if I lost everything tomorrow, I've got a skill set and a persona and attitude and image, network, people, whatever it might be, to dust myself off and go again the next day, even if I went down to zero. And that is what you've got to build. You've got to build a foundation where you become valuable. When you become valuable in different circles, in different circumstances, and in the niche that you specialize in, money will come to you. If you're just chasing something because someone's told you to do a course, someone's told you to, try this, try that, there's nothing wrong with learning, but make sure your foundation is built solid from the ground up.
And it is hard to navigate the amount of noise that is on social media. But that's where I find that sometimes actually coming away from it and just picking that one thing, and like you said, learning a skill set and not deviating, because I feel people flitter too quickly. They'll try something, don't stick it out, and they're on to the next. And it's like a never-ending sort of cycle that they never really find their niche or even give it time. The poor mindset, rich mindset, right? It's a real talking topic. How do you go from having this real negative outlook on money where you think it's the root of all evil to actually understanding, actually, you're going to have a lot of resources, options, and you'll probably be more content? Because I don't know about you, but there's this whole, if you've got money and you've done very well in business, you've screwed people over, you're miserable and you're lonely. Are you miserable and lonely? I don't think you are.
No, I definitely not. I think I was more miserable when I was broke. And actually, the friends I had when I was broke aren't really friends that you would have around you today. So for me, I think that, being lonely is a misconception in itself. I think when you're so busy and you're working 16, 18-hour days, what you end up having to do is you find time to socialize because your time is so concentrated in actually where you need to go. And that's what gives you what I would call a much more important component in your life, which is significance. I think that really, when you look at why anyone does anything in life, it's for significance. People want to earn a lot of money so they can buy nice things, they can live a better life. That gives them significance. People do crazy things to attract attention for themselves because it becomes significant in their circles. And I think that for me, it is a minefield of taboo. It's a minefield of misinformation as to what money actually is attached to. Money doesn't make you happy. If you're a complete idiot, it'll make you a bigger idiot. But the thing is that if you have a great direction and you want to get ahead, unfortunately, you can't do it without money. You want to take your family on holiday and you want them to enjoy their lives, you need money. You want a car that doesn't break down every 5 minutes, you need money. It's just one of those things. So you've got to get obsessed with that process. And it doesn't mean that everyone's got to become a multi-millionaire. It just means you've got to build sustainable life for yourself and your family so you can basically get through this challenge of life.
I'm right there with you. I am right. I'd mirror all of it. I mean, you said it as it is, right? Something I'm talking a lot about at the moment, mate, is in a world at the moment where, again, there is a lot of what do I do? I definitely want more, but I'm not sure. I'm not around the right people. So all of this kind of confusion and this whirlwind of not knowing what to do, it can lead to inaction, right? Where you end up doing nothing. And what I'm seeing a lot of at the moment, and I'm certainly attacking it in my content, is around blaming the world, like the cost of living, like the recession, all these big titles that the media pumps out, and people latch onto it. But yeah, I don't know what it's like in Dubai, mate, but you come over to here in the UK, city centres rammed, car showrooms rammed, holidays being booked, but yet they'll go home and go, I've spent all my money, I've got no fucking money, it's the cost of living. So with the whole inaction and making excuses, what's your feeling on all of that?
I feel that most people will look for a reason as to why they haven't got to where they need to go. I feel like a lot of people will play the blame game, especially as they get older. Everyone came out of school with fresh aspirations of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get this degree, I'm going to become a lawyer, I'm going to become a doctor. And everyone had that fresh energy of what they wanted to do in their career. As life hit them and they realised it's not that simple, they've gone and dumped 30,000, 40,000 pounds on a degree that's not got them a job. They're now working in a call center or they're doing sales or something like that, which they didn't think they were going to do. Suddenly the plan's a little bit off track. And what happens is animosity breeds over time when people's outcome and their plan doesn't get executed how they want it to be. But what they don't realize and what the successful people do is they make a new plan. For me, I've always tweaked and adjusted. If you said to me 2 years ago, you're going to book a one-way ticket to Dubai a year later, I'd have said to you, you're absolutely bonkers. I've only been there twice on holiday, and the first holiday I didn't really like it that much. So, but you have to tweak your plan. I had plans for expansion. I had plans to take the business to the next level. Well, that cost me a hell of a lot of money. I think I had to dump nearly £1 million in the last year on that whole process. And when I look at how much money I've spent on that, it's frightening. I mean, I could have just kept that money and I could have just invested it in some property. I could have just bought myself a nice house, lived a nice life. The UK was doing well, but it wasn't enough for me. I wanted the next level and I was willing to take that risk that probably 99.9% of people wouldn't take. So for me, it's kind of like, it's in my DNA now. It's in my blood that you're not going to get anywhere unless you take risk on what you want to do. And that means investing in yourself. That means taking leaps of faith that might not give you an immediate gratification. This problem that stops people achieving is they want to get paid on their time. They don't want to get paid on their results. So there is a saying that poor people get paid on their time, rich people get paid on their results. That's how it works. Every single member of staff in my company gets paid before me. And, we're floating around like 150, 200. So when you think about that many people having to get paid before I get paid, that's a lot of business and revenue to get through before I can experience any joy from it. So when you talk about that, then you've got to think about, well, that comes with understanding your market, understanding the direction you've got to grow your business in, the growth, the certainty of what your model is and where it's going. All these things that have taken me years and years and years of mistakes, years and years of risk taking, of knowledge, of learning, of investment. And then, you know, people will say, well, how did you do it? You know, oh, he must have got lucky. He must have been given some money from a family member or whatever. And it's not, it's really not. And so people will always look for that excuse as to why they've not done it. But really, most people won't even risk £10,000 on their dreams, but they'll spend £10,000 on a holiday so they can get some nice photos in a restaurant or in front of, you know, the Burj Khalifa or whatever.
And what's ironic as well is they'll spend £10,000 on a holiday to actually escape the life that they live in. I mean, that's the ironic thing, is they're not even booking a holiday because they know that they're coming back to something that they love. They're actually trying to escape for a short period of time to go back to a hellhole, right? I think this is the thing, right? I'm learning this more and more, mate, is dealing with pressure. You know, you said it there, it's 99.9% of people that are not able to run a business because mentally it's so tough. And, you know, pressure will either crush you or it will create a diamond, right? It's two things are going to happen. And that I am learning that more and more, which I love the saying, Winston Churchill, a man will never reach his destination if he stops to argue with every barking dog. And I really like that, because you find along the way of business, right? And I know we've both had it, because you're going to have it on your way, is that people will rear up their head and they've got something to say, but they never actually go and do it themselves. And I just want to touch on, before we move on to how there is a direct correlation to looking after yourself physically to elevating your business. But before we move on to that, I just want to get your take on, you know, when there's someone who's always got a loud mouth that says, you don't want to start a business because it's super risky and 90% of all businesses fail, which is a total incorrect statistic now. But what would you say to someone if they came up to one of your staff members and went, oh, you don't want to do that, it's risky?
Yeah, I think like the first thing you should check is where is the source. So who's actually telling you? Because as far as I'm concerned, I've got a rule of thumb that I don't take advice off people that aren't in the position that I want to be in. And anybody who's in a par position or a subpar position to where I am in life will not be getting the ear time from me on where I need to go on my next move. If they're worth 150 million and they have a yacht and they drive a Bugatti, then yeah, I'll probably listen to what they've got to say. So for me, that doesn't always mean that I take what they say as gospel as well. I also believe that business is a probability game. It's all about weighing the probability in your favor as much as possible. So when you take that risk, you're not taking that risk on the basis that it's going to give you a direct result. What it's actually doing is putting you in a scenario where you are most likely to be able to increase your revenue and increase your results. Now, if you haven't built that on a solid foundation, for example, if you haven't learned your industry to the nth degree, there's no point opening a real estate brokerage and telling everybody how to do the job when you can't even do the fucking job yourself. You've got to be able to list and sell and deliver at a high level so that when you're telling people and showing people, they know you're an expert in that field. I'm just talking from my expertise. So when I then come to Dubai, I spent 3 or 4 months literally doing deals myself just so I could see how the process works. I did about £250,000 in the first 3 months just from people I know and investors and this and that, because I needed to know what was going on. There's no point me opening a brokerage and saying, right, everybody needs to sell houses in Dubai. Have you ever sold in Dubai? No. I've sold hundreds of millions of pounds of property, but never in Dubai. So I needed to understand that process. Now I understand it, I can transition all my knowledge, teach everyone, and now we're absolutely flying. Like we did 35 deals last month. So I'm very, very happy with my position to be able to advise people. So, you know, I know we've gone off a slight tangent, but like I find that like when you are taking advice, just always look at the source that you're taking advice from and always look at what their real intentions are for you. Because I've had friends, family members, different people say, oh, you don't want to do that. You need more security. You need more stability. And I'm saying, but you haven't done what I want to do. So you're not telling me this from your Bugatti, are you? You're not telling me this from your yacht. You're telling me this from a position where in about 6 months, I'm going to be more wealthy than you. So it really doesn't resonate correctly with me. I think that the flip side of that, though, also is that you can intake advice from people who have agendas for you to just buy a course or for you to just get involved with whatever they're doing that's going to make them money, and they'll make promises to the ends of the earth that they'll deliver on it, and then it doesn't deliver. So again, you need to do your due diligence on who those people are that are advising you to do something, as well as doing your due diligence on someone who's telling you not to do something.
It's super important. Proof of concept. I think that's something that I would really push, is that, again, it's just due diligence. And unfortunately, you've actually got to tell people to do that, which is gonna lead us nicely on to kind of like the mindset of this whole like beta victim attitude. Right, we're gonna come on to that. Let's look, you're killing it in the fitness, you know, in your health, in your training, right? It's something I take very seriously as well. And I do feel there is a direct correlation in valuing and respecting yourself physically to hold yourself accountable, because I think that's everything, right? Accountability and ownership from where you've been, where you are, and where you're going, not looking for someone else to take that accountability. I mean, look, you're shredding up, right? You know, you're leaning up and everything like that. How has that made a direct impact on your business by looking after yourself? And what do you think it says to other people when they pull up and they shake your hand when you're about to do a deal?
I think it's a brilliant question, because for me, I didn't actually understand how important this was. My views and goals on life were, I need to earn X amount of money. I need to be driving a supercar. I need to live in a fancy penthouse or a fancy apartment. I hit all of the above, grew the business to a level. And then I was finding, actually drinking champagne for breakfast and steak for dinner every single night is really, really nice. But my health was going down the pan, because I was getting fatter and fatter and fatter. I felt sluggish. I remember going up, I was in a house that was in central London. It was worth about 10 mil. And I went up 4 flights of stairs because it was a 5-story townhouse. And we went straight to the top of the house first. We went, oh, let's start at the top floor. And I got to the top floor and my fucking heart was beating out my chest. I had sweat beads running down the fat rolls in my neck. And I just thought, okay, I'm a bit unhealthy here. And I kind of just, you know, detracted from the fact that this was a problem. Now, what my issue with it all was that you can paint yourself a reality that you've done all right and you don't need it. When I think about how I felt when it was the realization, the first thing was, I said to my girlfriend, was on holiday, I was like, I feel like I'm getting fat, I'm getting overweight. We took a photo of me, probably seen it on my social media, probably want to pop it up at some point. It's me, very overweight, in the swimming pool in front of the Burj Al Arab. Now, I can promise you now, God's honest truth, I was walking to the swimming pool with my top off and my shorts, and I saw my reflection in the mirror of like one of the beach hut things next to the pool, and I did not look like that. I looked a little, not ripped, but I did not look that bad. And I thought, yeah, I'll get a photo. All right, I'm not the most ripped, but I'm all right. I'm in good shape. And then I saw that photo. That cannot be me. That can't be me. And it ruined my trip to Dubai at the time. Absolutely ruined it. So I then started getting an analysis on my health. I went into one of those health shops where they do an analysis on like your body fat, on your water, on your health, on everything, and they send the electrical pulses through your body. And the guy turned around to me and he said, yeah, you need to lose 18 kilograms. And I went, 18 kilograms? That's a lot. Have you ever picked up an 18-kilogram dumbbell? It's not light, it's heavy. And he said, and pretty much all of that was in your trunk. It was in your belly. And I thought, imagine holding an 18-kilogram dumbbell on your belly. I thought, that is ridiculous. No wonder I'm getting out of breath going up the stairs. So for me, that was soul destroying. I remember going into the gym in Banus in Dubai. I could see some good trainers. I found a personal trainer that I'm using still to this day. I walked up to him and just basically said, listen, mate, I've seen you training people. I really like it. But I said, honestly, I went on a rant in front of him. I said, I'm fucking sick of it. I said, I'm sick of going up and down in weight, and now it's just going up. I feel like shit. My health is slipping away. You know, I need to sort this out today. And he had a meeting with me the next day, put a plan in place, and I've stuck to it ever since. For me, the implications of your health are absolutely important. I heard a saying once that there's no point being the richest man in the graveyard. What I don't want to be is, you know, a 50-odd-year-old man. I'm not 50, by the way, but I'm saying in the future, a 50-odd-year-old man in the future who's built an absolute legacy, is worth hundreds of millions of pounds, if not billions, if I get lucky enough. And, and they're burying me at 51, 52. That's ridiculous. I want to be healthier at 50 than I am at 40. And I'm still not 40 yet, by the way. But like what I'm saying is that is my view on it. So now I'm the fittest I've ever been. I dropped 20, 21 kilograms in fat. I train 2 hours a day. Like this morning, I burnt 1,300 calories in the gym on an empty stomach. Did boxing for an hour, trained my shoulders, did my abs, and then I went straight into all my business meetings. My productivity has increased tenfold. My energy's through the roof. My clarity of thinking is one of the big ones that they don't tell you about. So being overweight, eating junk food, drinking alcohol gives you massive brain fog. And, unless you're striking where your energy is really high, you don't even want to pick the phone up. You don't want to make an outbound call. You don't want to do this. When you're firing, when you're a machine and you're putting yourself through absolute torture every single morning, before the phone started ringing, before you've had a head-to-head meeting, before you've had a head-on conversation, and you've done that to yourself every single day, that mentally conditions you, that mentally makes you an animal. So then when I come up against challenging things in business now, I just cut through them like a knife through butter. It's just so easy. And nothing phases me now. When I was overweight, I used to get anxiety. I used to worry about different things. I used to overthink things. Now I've got all of my anxiety, all of my stress is out in the first 2 hours of the day. And now I've got clarity of mind. I'm executing at a high level. The business turnover has increased by 5 times in the last 12 months. It's from the year before. It's crazy. And for me, that is down to taking my health very, very seriously and making sure that I'm not going to be one of these fat, old, rich men when I grow older with a big wallet and a short life, because that's not what I'm here for. I want to live till I'm 200.
I love it. I mean, I am right there with you on the fitness, is that it's almost like hyper focus, isn't it? You are so attuned to what is going on in your productivity. And you said it, you hit the nail on the head. Resilience. It's like you're training for the worst case. And as you know, running a business, it's just problem solving. Every day is a problem to solve, and to keep doing that day in, day out. If you have that physical build where you are just going to war with yourself every day, regardless. I liked what you said a little while ago. If you remember, saying not getting too soft in the morning, saying just lay in bed. Come on, let's just have a cuddle. It's totally true, dude. I was smashing legs at 6 a.m. this morning, and just before our podcast, I went back for an arm session. Just to fucking kill it, just to make I'm trying to get in 2 sessions a day, and it just prepares me. It's like preparation at its finest. But just quickly before we move on from the fitness, it does make, and I want to build this into the workplace, it does give you a higher level of respect from people when you physically stand out from someone who's fat, slobby, mooby, that word that you used last time. I can never say it, dude. But it makes a difference, doesn't it, when you shake someone's hand?
Oh, absolutely. I think the first thing it gives people a window into is your discipline. How conditioned is your mind? How organized is your mind? How focused are you? If you get up and do all the things you don't want to do, and let's face it, health and fitness is the first thing nobody wants to do. And also doing it properly. Because I see people in the gym and they stand around and there's 4 of them around a machine and they're having a casual chat. And then they say, I've been to the gym for 2 hours. You haven't been to the gym for 2 hours. You've been to the gym for about 20 minutes. You've chatted for an hour and 40 minutes. Whereas what I've done is I've gone and done 600, 700, 800 calories in my cardio. And I've done another 600 calories in my training and my weights. Plus I've done an ab session and whatever else I've had to do. And I've alternated cardio with intense boxing, pad work, and all this sort of stuff. It's like, you can either go to the gym and concentrate on getting the result out of it, or you're going to the gym to just tell people you've gone to the gym because it's the right thing to do. It's just like when you execute an activity in your business, if you're a salesperson, are you just making the sales calls because you've got to and someone's told you? Are you picking the phone up to get the result? Does every time you get on that phone, are you vibrating at a high frequency? Are you giving it the energy of a life and death situation? Or are you just monotone, flat, going through the motions? Like, what is it? Because that applies with everything. So when I go to the gym, I don't go to the gym to just put on Instagram, I've gone to the gym. I want the result out of it. And I measure that through my calorie burn, through how long I've trained and everything else. And you can see it, my physique has changed. It's so important. People shake my hand. They know I'm a disciplined man. They know I'm a focused man. They know that I'm an achiever and I'm a winner. And that's what I want people to know when they meet me.
Mate, I love it. I mean, just the last piece on fitness. It's so funny. Good habits, bad habits. What the fuck are they anymore? I know what my good habits are, but then what's normal, right? It's so there's this huge difference. You sit around a dinner table and you start tracking your macros. Someone who's out of
Yeah.
shape, fat, slobby, they do, but you know, there's that whole thing of why are you
Mm,
tracking? And it's like, why are you not?
mm.
Look at the state of you. It's
Yeah,
like it's that level of
yeah.
I'm trying to improve. So I love it. Now look, in the workplace, I've done a lot of this content recently, mate. It's resonated with a lot of people. As I did a little bit around men's mental health, where they're getting shouted at, they're getting talked to like they're
Mm,
a child. Sometimes by graduates who are no more than 4'6" and weigh no more than my sliders, right? And
mm,
they're just putting up with it because they fear for their job. When will
mm.
people get a backbone and get some fuck you money? What's your process to telling people design your life, stop being assigned one? Like, get a fucking backbone.
Now, don't get me wrong, there are some high achievers in the salaried world. There are people who are CEOs, they're chief operating officers, they're directors. There are people who earn 150, 250,000 pound a year who are on big hitting salaried jobs. So they're the minority, but they are literally less than the 1%. They're like 0.001% because to get a high paid salary job is even rarer than starting a business and getting to a high level of income. But the problem with getting a high paid salary job, certainly out of Dubai, in Dubai, it's tax free, but in the UK, you're talking about 50, 60% tax. So just to give people an insight, I mean, you've probably covered it in different videos and stuff, is that if you're earning £100,000 a year, which is the top 1% or 0.5% in the UK, you're only taking home £5,666 a month, which is just over a grand a week. So when you're talking about just over a grand a week, let's just say you're spending £2,500 on your house, which isn't going to be a massive house. It's going to be a pretty average house. You've probably got a Range Rover if you're lucky, which is going to cost you about 800 quid a month. You're left with about 1,500 quid a month. It's nuts, and that's on £100,000 a year. So for me, it's about having to take the risk and make sacrifice. So sacrifice is a cliche that gets thrown around a lot, but people aren't willing to do it. I have this conversation with people who get into real estate. They're on commission only. For the first 3 to 6 months of their career, they're going to earn less than what probably a McDonald's worker will, unless they break the system, which some of them do. They do earn quicker, but as a medium, as a general rule, don't expect to earn anything your first 3 months, and you'll probably hit some bank in your second 3 months. But you're working for your back 6 months to really start getting the revenue in. How do you say to someone who's trying to earn 2, 3, 400,000 pound a year, you're going to earn less than a McDonald's worker for the first 6 months? I have people who've left the business. Oh no, I need to do this. Oh no, I need to do that. But I need to do this job as well as doing real estate. And we said, no, you've got no place in the company now. You can't work here. Well, how am I supposed to do it? I said, well, do you want me to give you the magic answer, or do you want me to give you the actual answer? Because the actual answer is have a firm talking to your wife and your kids and say, we're battening down the hatches for 6 months because I've got to go to work. You're not going to see me for probably 6 days of the week. I'm going to be working 15, 16 hours until I hit this bank, but it's going to come. And then when you do that, then you can make things happen. People aren't willing to make the serious sacrifice to make serious money. And that's why most people get a job making somebody else rich. And that's how it works.
Mate, you've hit the nail on the head. I talk about this all the freaking time. Sacrifices. There are so many people that the key word they want. I want more money. I don't want to be affected by the cost of living crisis. I want this. I want that. I want a better life. I don't want a fat belly. I want. But no one's willing to do this sacrifice that you talk about. It's being able, mate, that's what I did to get out my job and start my first business. I didn't go out on the weekends for years. I didn't go on holiday. I shared a banger of a car with my wife. We didn't have anything. We literally didn't have anything. And you tell someone, you just said it, front end work. You say to your new staff members, don't expect to earn in the first 4 months. And people don't have that grit in them. What?
Well, I tell you what I did when I moved to Dubai, right? And this is 100% a true story. So we were living in a really nice apartment in Chelsea. I was driving around in the Lambo. Everything was where it needed to be. I made the decision to move to Dubai and start the Dubai arm of the business. Now, what I said was, I said to my girlfriend, right, we are not moving into a nice apartment. We are moving into a shithole. So I put us into a little one bed. It had blue carpets. It had shower curtains. It was not nice. It was in a half decent park. It was in Business Bay, but it was the cheapest apartment you could find in Business Bay. It wasn't nice, right? Got in there and I thought, right, this is just livable. It's just livable. You haven't got cockroaches swarming around, but it's definitely not a luxury apartment, right? Little one bed. I said, right, when we hit the first £100,000, the first 400,000 dirham, then, or 450,000 dirham it was, when we hit that, then we'll move into a better one bed, right? So then we moved into a newer one bed. We went to the shortlets in Sonda and they were really modern, really nice. They had a separate lounge and they were a nice one bed, right? So I said, right, now when we hit the first £250,000, which I can't remember what that was in dirhams, but it's £250,000, then we will move into a nicer one. So then when we hit that, sorry, it wasn't £250,000, it was £500,000. When we hit the next £500,000, then we'll start looking for another apartment. We bypassed it, hit about £750,000. And then what we did is we moved into a penthouse in Business Bay, which has got 3 beds, a maid, 2 spaces, and it looks at the Burj Khalifa. What I'm getting at is that I could have moved us into that apartment on day one. I could have moved us into that apartment on day one, but I did not deserve it. And I knew that if I put myself straight into the comfort zone, trying to make myself feel better that I'm the new guy in Dubai, and actually thinking, right, I'm going to play to my comfort zone, make everything exactly how it was, let everyone know that we're living good. And that is going to have a negative counter reaction to my brain, because what I'm going to do now is slip into comfort. I need to be uncomfortable. So when I was in that little shithole of an apartment, I thought, get me out of here. I need to make some money. That's how I ended up doing $250,000 of deals on my own before we even had any brokers registered, because I made sure that I had to do it. The accountability was there. Just the same as I told myself I ain't buying a car until we've hit the first £1 million of revenue. We've already done that. Now I'm starting to car shop. It's like I could have easily just picked up a Lamborghini. I could have had it waiting for me at the airport and picked up where I left off in London. I didn't want to do it because that doesn't work with me. I need to earn it. I need to earn everything I do. And the same will happen when I buy a yacht. The same will happen when I buy a Bugatti. It's going to be when I've hit certain milestones, and everything is geared up to that level. So weirdly, what my point is that people say, oh, I don't want to make the sacrifices. Try making the sacrifices when you don't even need to make the sacrifices. Yeah. When you're still getting rewarded, then see if you've got the mental conditioning, because you've got to be some sort of psycho to do that. You've got to be some sort of psycho to say, we can go move into a penthouse in Business Bay looking at the Burj Khalifa. But what I'm going to do is move us into a shithole, and we're not moving out of here until I've delivered some money. That's what I was about. That's how my brain is wired up.
And it's staying out of that level of comfort, because when you get comfortable, you get a little bit tubby around the waist, you start spending a bit more money, and then you fall into bad habits. I mean, that's what I like what you said, you know, about losing your bite, right? And I think this is where we could go back over the fitness element of it. Is no one's going to give you a 6-pack. No one's going to make you ripped. You've got to do the work. What I want to cover off now, just before we sort of come to a close, is there are a lot more people thinking about business now. I know it. I can see it. You can feel it. A lot more people are thinking, do you know what? Why am I being spoken to like an absolute twat when I could start on my own? What would be your bit of guidance, like your top tip for someone who's on the fence? No one likes to sit on a fence because it fucking hurt your ass. But what would be that bit of guidance, that top tip for someone who's thinking about it, maybe a little bit confused or whether it's right for them, more around your experience and the real possibility of actually building something pretty successful?
Yeah, I think that there's the one thing that people are getting wrong, right, and why they get stung is they forget about the most important element. And the most important element is hard work. One thing that we're losing as people are getting older and older is as the new generations are coming through, they're becoming lazier and lazier and lazier. And I just hold this thought for a second, right? Everything that we that we experience now is automated. So anything that is a multi-million-pound business or a billion-pound business is something that automates something. So when we talk about sites like Amazon, we talk about Uber, we talk about Deliveroo, we talk about all these different things, they absolutely exploded because what they do is they make us lazier because everything gets the distance you've got to go from getting from point A to point B has been reduced like this. Now, what I'm getting at is that's how our brains are. So the reason it's so important to do the gym, to condition yourself, to not let yourself sit in the comfort zone is because you're going to slip into that mindset. Now, if you've got that mindset around your business, around how you live, around everything, that is going to apply in your work rate. So if you're thinking, well, I can order a taxi by clicking a button, I can get a curry delivered in 20 minutes. So I haven't got to cook. I need to access a subject to learn something. I can just click on YouTube and it's there. Everything is automated. Everything is fast. The one thing that doesn't come fast is success. And you've got to, even if you've got technology that makes things faster, even if you have a way of automating something, you still got to work so hard to make that a success, which means you've got to make the phone calls, you've got to do the social media content, you've got to do the outbound messages, you've got to work on your self-development, on your sales training, on closing business, all these different things. If you don't work like a madman on getting all those skills correct, the whole thing, the world's greatest idea will fall flat on its ass because you're not working hard enough. So my advice is work like your life absolutely depends on it. And then your skills, the idea, the direction you're trying to go in, all that sort of stuff, that'll all click in place. But if it's not built on a foundation of hard work, you can fucking forget about it. It's not going to happen.
Love it. It reminds me of when Ice-T was being interviewed and he said, if you're going to start a business, don't expect any results for the first 5 years. Otherwise, don't bother.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. We're so used to quick, fast questions that I often have on live streams is like, how can I make fast money? How can I do this quickly?
Why has it got to be fast?
Exactly. Should I, I had someone yesterday ask me, should I buy a TikTok account that's got a following? What? Like, come on. But look, dude, loads of nuggets in there, loads of value. This is certainly going to kick ass in terms of like the information that's in here, man. Mate, third time. There we go.
Yeah, well, look, I'd just like to finish on is that, what I really believe on and what we've been talking about today is that there are no fast track, get rich quick schemes in my head. I believe you have to work on your image. You have to be healthy, fit, and you have to be super hardworking. You have to integrate and network with people to get yourself ahead in life. There are so many different areas that you need to get right in order to build a foundation to build success. And what I've just launched and is launching today is a course it's an e-learning platform called Broke to Boss. We're doing a huge discount for early people that sign up to it. It's not big money, and it gives everything that I know in my head that has helped me become, effectively, I don't even know what my value is, but it's certainly a few million quid. And, that is from ground zero. That's from nothing. And we talk about image. We talk about your self-development. We talk about health and fitness. We talk about sales, business, you name it, it's covered in there. I filmed for 22.5 hours to condense it down to 5 hours with all the PDFs, all the organizational structure. If anyone's interested in it, just jump on the link. You'll find it on my Instagram, Tyrone Ash Official.
Well, send it over to me, and then when this goes live, dude, I'll just stick it in the description, and then people can check it
Brilliant.
out, and we'll include that. So note that it will be in
Lovely.
the description, dude. As always, absolute pleasure, man. Maybe if I haven't got any plans at the moment, mate, but if I head over, look after me, man. If I come over, I'm not going to know my way around.
Come out to Dubai, mate. It'd be great to have you here, and I'll definitely show you everything you need to have a good time, mate.
There we go. I have absolutely no doubt. Dude, until next time, and everyone, please do like, follow, subscribe, leave some comments on some of your biggest takeaways, and Tyrone's socials will be in the description, plus his e-learning. So till next time, we'll see you all very soon.